Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, sponsored by Baker Glass. John Summerall lands his 5th commit as 3-star athlete Kamarian Johnson chooses Florida over Cincinnati and Florida State. Despite 2 homers, Jacksonville lost 3-1 to Nashville after Monday off. Jumbo Shrimp open a 6-game set with Gwinnett Tuesday at 5-star. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
Right now, 81 degrees at 10 o'clock. Time in 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
We're trading up in the draft. We're moving from pick 5 to pick 2, and we're doing it because you're the one we've been hunting up.
Yes, sir. That's the best decision.
And with the 2nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter, wide receiver, defensive back from Colorado.
Travis Hunter, he embodies belief, right? He's a rare person. He's a rare player, but he's also a reminder that the boundaries of the game of football were built to be challenged.
Dropping is Trevor. Fires it deep downfield. That ball's caught by Travis Hunter. He's into the end zone. Touchdown.
He has the craziest conditioning of any athlete I've ever been around. Like that, he doesn't get tired. He doesn't sweat. It's kind of crazy. But he loves football, fishing. I mean, that's what he does.
And Lawrence is going to throw a pass for Hunter. Did he hold on to that one at the 35? Two-way Heisman star hauls it in for 28.
I think people kind of forgot that he's on our team because he got hurt, and when we started really clicking, he wasn't on the field and he was injured. But think about having him. That's going to be back next year. Both sides of the ball. He's such a key player. I mean, he's going to be a huge help for our team.
Beautiful maneuver. It's Hunter making his first big play. Boy, puts him in the spin cycle. And Hunter makes the catch.
Now, Jaguars Today on 1010XL with Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and RJ Saunders.
All right, Tony, you're 2 minutes late on Josh Sweat. Come on, man. What's going on?
Yeah, I was working the phones, just nothing coming through. They didn't even pick up when I called.
What did you offer? Come on, they wouldn't even take your offers?
They wouldn't even pick up the phone. What can I do?
Ridiculous, man. Yeah. I leave last week. Welcome in, everybody. Jaguars Today. I'm happy to be back, sort of. I am happy to be back. I'd rather be back fully functional right now. But when I left last Tuesday, I had 2 simple requests. You would engineer a trade for the Jags to add Josh Sweat to the team.
Very simple, yeah.
And that RJ would be talking about on Open Gym how the Knicks were up 2-0 on the road in San Antonio, and that turned out to be the easy part of that right there. Thank you, RJ.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming through for me right there, Tone. Anyway, I'm back, and for what it's worth, man, I'm a little, let's say, on the mend right now, right? Dr. Kevin Kaplan, Jaguars team doctor, hooked me up, but you know what I mean. He did a great job on my shoulder surgery that I had last Wednesday. Torn labrum. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what they call the bicep thing, but he had to disconnect the bicep, reattach it in a different place because it was torn or whatever it was, and had a massive cyst sitting on a nerve that had been there from years of wear and tear, he said. So drained that thing, had all kinds of calcium deposits, arthritis. Shoulder's a wreck, Tone.
Oh, no, yeah.
But hopefully now, maybe a month from now, it'll be, I'm in this like contraption. You can't really see it if you can kind of stand up there.
No, that's a better look at it.
And it looks, you can't really tell. It's like a sling, but it keeps you from moving your arm across your chest, which would apparently be bad for the repaired labrum now.
How's that sleeping?
Not well. It's stacking pillows at like a 45-degree angle. Like the guy who fitted me for the sling goes, well, you can sleep in a recliner. I said, I don't have a recliner. And then the next time I talked to him, he goes, well, don't forget, you can sleep in a recliner. I'm like, do you think I just ran out and bought a recliner? I did not do that. So stacking pillows kind of like at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty well, like when I sleep, I don't roll around which is good because if I was rolling around, I could really mess this thing up.
Right.
But it's a pain, man. I had a half shower yesterday, so pardon me, Tony. I don't know what's coming off of me right now.
It's all good.
All right.
Yeah.
It's probably smells like my son's bedroom right now, which, by the way, I don't know what he's doing in there, man, but gym locker room is exactly the aroma I'm getting off that. But, yeah, I laid around the house for 4 days. Today's the first day I can take a full official shower, which is nice because I can take the dressing off, take a shower, change the dressing. I will feel better, I think, at that point. But I've been just laying around in my own flop sweat for 4 days or so. And, I kind of took a half a shower yesterday to clean up the hot zones.
Yeah,
and,
you're doing like Charlie taking the shower in the bar.
Bro.
Right?
Yes.
Like you've never taken a shower in a bar? You can take a shower in a bar.
You take a shower anywhere, right? We're dudes, right? And normally I wouldn't care, but, and now on top of that, doing everything just left-handed. Which
is that your strong hand?
It's not my strong hand, Tony. Working together over these years, you may have found out I am not a lefty.
Are you trying to learn any tricks with the left hand?
I'm not really. I'm just trying to get through the day without being too stinky for people to come around and hopefully not tear the stitches out before they take them out next week and start some physical therapy. But I got no complaints. Knicks are up 2-0 in the finals.
Right.
Jags going into minicamp starting tomorrow. So what are we doing today? We're doing minicamp storylines, right?
Minicamp storylines for the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. What player or storyline are you most interested in hearing about over the next 3 days there at minicamp? And we'll check in with Mike DeRocco as he gets set to be out there for the next 3 days. The whole Jaguars contingent, I'm sure we'll be sending the whole 1010XL crew minus us.
I ain't going, man. I'm just telling you right now. I am not going out there. It's not going to be – there's no way I'm getting down there for a 9 o'clock practice start, be back on the air here at 10 o'clock with this whole situation going on right now.
Yeah.
Like everything is a process right now. My wife drove me to work today. God bless. Good thing she has a job in the school system. Or else, I don't know, man. I guess I would have been one of these one-handed drivers, kind of – I don't know what to tell you. RJ just gave me a look, man. I mean, the roads are not safe out there if I get behind the wheel right now, RJ.
Uber?
Uber from St. Augustine, bro?
Oh, okay.
What do you think? I make Hicken money?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
By the way, is Dan Hicken going to the NBA Finals?
No. He's in Scotland.
Oh, is he in Scotland?
Yeah.
Okay, he's got to go. Oh, so, okay. He's just going on a Scottish golf trip. I'm sorry. Even Hicken doesn't have Hicken money.
Yeah, he's not going to the finals. Apparently it's going to be
really going to go to one of these games.
Yeah, like tip off. I think where he's at, something like 2 in the morning.
Yeah, it'll absolutely be crazy late.
Something like that. But obviously, I assume he's going to be up to watch.
It's at least 5 hours difference.
Yeah, I hope it's not a shared room where everyone else has to be up to watch because Dan Hicken has to be. Like that kind of situation.
Hey, do what you got to do, bro.
Do what you got to do. I mean, the Knicks haven't been here all that often.
We have good juju going right now. I got a brand new Knicks cap from Fanatics, Tone.
Oh.
I'm a legit, I'm not a fly-by-night Knicks fan. I've been a Knicks fan since I was a kid.
Totally.
But I'm not a big wear a whole bunch of gear guy, right? And I wear more Jaguar gear than anything. And that includes the Yankees. And I've been a Yankee fan longer than anything. But I got a brand new lid. But I haven't taken it out of the box because I don't want to mess with the juju right now. You know what I mean? Everything's flowing. Let me just go about my business.
I haven't worn this hat yet. I'll wear it if they win a title.
You know, if they go up 3-0, I may put it on at some point during Game 4. But that's what it's going to take. So anyway, thank you, RJ, for giving the Knicks their flowers on Open Gym, as should be expected. Had a crazy dream, Tone, because that I got to say, probably the main benefit of having any kind of surgery is what can I tell you? Pain management, right? They're very good about pain management these days. We'll find out how good because things have worn off this morning, so we'll see how bad a situation I'm in. But I've kept myself well managed over the last 4 or 5 days, and it has led to some crazy dreams. And I had one involving a lot of the 1010XL crew.
Yeah.
That I don't know if we'll have time to get into later, but
I would say you need to keep a notebook by the bed as often as you may have these kind of dreams, but I'm not sure how much
would I do
good
with it,
would
right?
that
Left-handed?
do. Right, like right now, it's got to be a voice memo.
I
It's
got
your
people
only
like
choice.
texting me, doing all the like. I said, somebody sent me an email. I hadn't checked an email in 5 days.
Isn't that nice?
It was beautiful. It really was, right?
Right?
Like it was beautiful. I text with my Knicks buddies, and I'll text like one basketball and a fist pound, right? That's it, because everything's left-handed. And so people, I've been ignoring your emails. If you've emailed me or if you try to contact me, I have no idea what's going on. So at least Tony was nice enough to post the question of the day out there on social media. So that is out there today. So we'll get into it with D-Rock coming up here in just a few minutes and find out some storylines for training camp and following his write-ups. I know one of the things that he's looking forward to seeing is how the whole tight end room kind of plays out. So we'll talk about some of our most intriguing minicamp storylines here. A lot of positivity here locally. And I heard Jeff and the guys talk about it this morning, Tone. Nationally, still see a lot of those power rankings put in the middle of the pack, 16, 17, which Liam Cohen's going to eat that up.
No doubt about it. Yeah, the FPI rankings last week, we dug into those pretty good. But it was interesting. Shipley was in with me that day on Wednesday when they got posted. And I asked him because he hadn't seen it yet. I could see he was going to go look at it. I was like, just hold up. Like, we'll talk about where you think they'll be, in the AFC specifically. It makes sense from an FPI perspective because so much of that is reflective of the gambling markets right now. So it's not crazy when you think about it from that perspective that the Jags wound up where they did. But it was funny coming from Chip. He was like, he thinks Jacksonville, Houston have a really good argument to be 1-2
in the AFC.
In the AFC, like going into the year, and I was like, well, 7-8.
But that's the beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, we've talked about there are teams that are going to take a step back. Now, the Jags could be one of them, right? But I do think they're being undersold a little bit. What is the Vegas line? 8.5, right? Is the win total coming off a 13-win season?
Yes.
I get it. They didn't add a ton, but I think we are counting on a lot of internal improvement around these parts. So, hey, we're going to put that spin on it anyway. So we got a lot to get into today. Mike DeRocco coming up on the other side. Let's see if I remember how to do this, Tony. 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines. Took me a second there. Same number for the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Stream us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, and follow us on the socials as well. Give us feedback at MD_1010XL. I will not reply. 1010XL, Fat Tony, and at R has no J.
Da, 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 da.
All right, my man. I did not watch any Hamilton over the weekend, RJ. I got into The Sopranos again. That's what I decided to.
I like that.
To rewatch. Yeah, I like The Sopranos too.
I mean, in terms of you're giving yourself something to do, like while you're on the mend. So watching maybe like a series will help pass the time, help the healing process faster. So by the time you may finish the series, they'll say, "Hey, we're taking you out of this."
I am basically doing TV. I'm watching Knicks, binge watch, take a nap, repeat. I'd say rinse, repeat, but there hasn't been a whole lot of rinsing going on with my life and my body for the last 5 days. So again, apologies to Tony Smith, who's got to sit in the closest proximity to me for the next couple of hours. I think we'll make it through. Mike DeRocco coming up on the other side. Let's talk some Jaguar minicamp ball on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for DraftKings. DraftKings Sports live in all 50 states. That means right here in FLA. The whole world is watching one big tournament right now with group stage chaos, knockout drama, stoppage time, heartbreak. The DraftKings Sports app is now live right here in Florida. So whether you're catching the early kickoff before work, maybe the late match at the bar, you're in on every single minute, every match, every moment, and it's all happening in one simple app, the DraftKings app. Right now in Florida, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up using promo code 1010XL. Spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards. That's code 1010XL in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends June 28th. Terms DKNG.co/predictions promo.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. Ah, yes. Life, family, and Jacksonville football.
He gets away from the pressure, fires to the end zone.
We can't fix your problems, but we can make you smile along the way. 1010XL, your daily sports therapy.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Dreamfinders Homes, Monday.
On Jaguars Today.
Longer days, warmer nights, and a backyard that brings everyone together. Spring and summer in Florida means pool days, backyard barbecues, and night swims under the stars. Pickett here. For nearly 50 years, Surfside Pools have been creating the backdrops for life's best memories. From weekly service and repairs to remodels, commercial maintenance, and new pool construction, Surfside does it all. Ready to float happy? SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools. Summer starts here. License number CPC 044080.
Preparation for the season begins now. 1010XL's coverage of this year's organized team activities is brought to you by Cash Building Material, Windows Done Right, and Dexafit Jacksonville. Know your body, transform your life.
He tackles talk radio like a middle linebacker in the gap.
I tell it like I see it, and I see it like a middle linebacker.
Tommy Mack. Fridays on Jaguars Today. Unsealed by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Step inside Twin Peaks, warm wood, stone accent, and the mountain retreat vibe that hits the second you walk in. Massive TVs line up every wall, turning every seat into front row view of all the action. ET here, and I'm staying here for a while because of the smell of the wings, the burgers, and the 29-degree draft beer chills and frosted mugs like it's straight from the summer. The bar stays lively, and the Twin Peaks girls keep the whole place feeling fun and welcoming. For the ultimate sports lodge experience, it's always Twin Peaks. Eat, drink, scenic view.
Happy Father's Day to all you fathers.
Absolutely. Happy Father's Day.
Well, thanks, guys. Wow, I wonder how many fathers out there would love a new outdoor kitchen under their new pavilion or screen enclosure from Lifetime Enclosures.
I bet most would. Imagine having the entire family over and cooking a barbecue feast for everyone, protected from the elements.
I'd like to cook for Dad. Jacob, do you think you could? I think so, Pan.
I bet both you guys could.
Visit Lifetime Enclosures website or visit our showrooms today to experience the Lifetime difference and ask about our Father's Day specials.
Lifetime Enclosures. This is Hayes Carlion for First Florida Credit Union. I went to the branch on 210 to get my car loan and had a fantastic experience. I got a great rate and was in and out. The online banking services are also outstanding. Depositing checks through the mobile app is fast and efficient. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards for 3 years running, and it's easy to see why. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Hear the unmistakable sound of legendary guitarist and vocalist Tom Kiefer of Cinderella. Friday, June 12th at Florida Theater. Tom Kiefer of Cinderella. With special guest, LA Guns. Hear all the hits. Get tickets now at the Florida Theater box office and floridatheater.com. Produced by Elko Concerts Florida Theater.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Jaguars mandatory minicamp next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we should have some good content coming out of that. Obviously, we'll hear from Liam Cohen and the coordinators, Trevor Lawrence, and some of the frontline players of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But while we wait for them to take the field tomorrow, Tony, we welcome in our friend Mike DiRocco, ESPN Jaguars reporter. D-Rock, good morning to you.
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
We're doing well.
Oh, good.
Doing good. I told Tony I'm on the mend. Shoulder surgery, D-Rock. I now have an excuse for every bad golf shot I've hit in the last at least calendar year when playing with you. It was all the shoulder.
And you probably could use that as an excuse for the next 2 or 3 years going forward too.
I
hey,
plan on it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Got to reinvent
Like,
my swing now, D-Rock. Come on.
Yeah, and you give me a couple of extra. I'll have to give you a couple extra strokes, right?
Yeah, I don't think you and I have ever played for a single penny on the golf course.
We have not.
Yeah, so I'll happily give you as many strokes as you like under those circumstances. Mike, a lot of places we can jump in here, but reading your contribution to the ESPN piece about mandatory minicamps coming up, one of the things you're looking forward to watching play out is Nate Borkacher and Tanner Koziel and how they fit into the tight end room. It's a nice problem to have trying to figure out how to get the ball distributed between all the potential pass catchers, it seems like.
Yeah, and I don't know that we'll be able to get a real true picture in the mandatory minicamp of a lot of stuff, but they took Borkacher for a reason, obviously, and they want to run more 2 tight end, maybe even 3 tight end sets. And, I'm interested really more so. I think we have a good idea how they're going to use Borkacher, but I'm interested to find out how they're really going to use Koziel. Is he going to move him around a lot? Is he going to be on the field a lot? Is he going to be out wide? I mean, is he going to be more of a red zone guy? So I'm kind of hoping that we'll get a little bit of a taste of that just to kind of see, because it's like Liam Cohen got a couple of new toys and trying to figure out how to use them, and that's going to be one of the things that I'll be watching, pretty intently over the next 3 days.
Yeah, we know, D-Rock, that the nature of the practices they have on the field at this time of year are what they are, right? Like the big boys aren't really hitting. The pads aren't coming on for a while now until we get into a week and a half, 2 weeks into training camp, which is still a ways off. So it's hard to evaluate the offensive and defensive lines, obviously, at this time of year. But if you had to guess, talking about the tight end room and what they've done to improve it, you talked about Borkacher, and he does seem to have been brought in part because of what he could potentially add to their running game as that second tight end. How much would you guess has the Jaguars' run game improved in this offseason?
I'll say this. I think he does add that element too, and you've got a fully healthy Brenton Strange, and the offensive line group, with the exception of Cole Van Lannon, is healthy. Going into, McCarry's banged up just a little bit, but, it's a group that is not going to change much from the group last year. And remember, that group at the beginning of the year was really doing a good job in the run game. The Jags led the league in rushing for several weeks there. So I think that is not going to be my question. My question is going to be, how are the backs going to fit in that run game too? Because we don't know that yet either. We haven't seen Chris Rodriguez on the field. And we don't know how much of a mix the plan was for those guys with Basil Tootin and LaQuint Allen. What was it going to be RB1 and then sort of look like it did last year with Tootin RB2, or was it really going to be a mix of all 3 guys? But, like you mentioned, the physical nature of this is not what we're going to see. We're not going to see that part of it in minicamp, but we might get a good idea of, the mix of what they're looking at with those guys, the Tootin and Allen mix anyway. Allen's one of those guys that, and maybe it's just because he's wearing number 5, and it just looks better on him, as opposed to 36, I think he wore last year, but he looks quicker. He looks bigger. He looks like faster, which doesn't make any sense, but it kind of does. Numbers with those guys and numbers like, Antonio Johnson looks better. Jarian Jones looks better in 4 than 22. It's just a weird thing, but the offensive line, I think they're in really, really good shape there, and they cross-train some of those guys. There's a lot more depth at this time than last year. So I think it's going to be interesting to kind of watch that part of it unfold in camp.
And D-Rock, you mentioned Chris Rodriguez, and they're not going to talk specifics about injuries. Obviously, he's been missing from OTAs. Any indication from the team as to when they expect him to be on the practice field?
I think the expectation for him is to be back in camp. I don't know if that's the beginning of camp, middle of camp, but at some point he'll be on the field in training camp. That's what I believe is their expectation for him.
One of the things we were talking about going into the OTAs, especially the first kind of open practice that the media had a chance to go see, was Caleb Bransaw getting back on the field and how important that could be for the football team. How has he looked to you in your couple of opportunities to see him back on the field?
I think the word that I'll use is comfortable because, he had not really played safety. Obviously, he did at the Senior Bowl, but that was pretty much it. And then missed his entire year last year with a foot injury. So you kind of wonder, what's he going to look like? Is he going to be overthinking? Is he going to be hesitating? But he's just running around free out there and looks really, really comfortable. And that's a really good sign. I know they are super excited about that kid. And just the way he moves, the athleticism, you can kind of tell that he's got a chance to be a really big-time playmaker for those guys in the back end. At least that's what they're counting on. But he does look so comfortable out there. And that's a good sign. That means he was in the playbook mentally and all season last year and kind of understands what they want him to do.
Yeah, so you got Ransaw, Mike, Antonio Johnson. They drafted Jalen Husky. Jarian Jones even talked about, bulking up a little bit so he could play, different positions in the secondary. Is Eric Murray locked in as the strong safety? I know what he brings in terms of communication and getting guys lined up, but there's a lot of competition in that room right now.
Yeah, I would say he is the starter there when the season begins. Now, does that last the whole year? I don't know. But I know this, they're going to play a bunch of safety. They like to play that 3 safety look with Antonio Johnson as like the box safety or like the nickel safety, whatever we want to call it. And Ransaw might get some work there as well, or they could move Antonio Johnson down to that and Ransaw in the back end if they go 3 safeties. I mean, Husky, I think they look at as more of a box safety. And let's not forget Rayon Lane. He's going to play some back there too. But just because of the veteran savvy and the communication stuff, I do think that Eric Murray starts the season as the starter back there.
D-Rock, I talked to John Shipley and Jamal St. Cyr when I had him in studio with me last week about this specifically. I asked them without prompting, what had stood out for them to this point in the open OTA practices they had seen, and I was very, very happy that they both brought up Brian Thomas Jr. without me asking about him, right? And just the way that he's looked out there, I thought that storyline would be at the top of my list for things that I most want to see, is at least the potential for Brian being back to the guy that we saw his rookie year, trending in that direction, more so in the lost in the wilderness kind of direction we all felt like he could be in after his second year. Do you echo that kind of sentiment, having seen him the couple times you've been able to?
Yeah, without a doubt, that to me is the number one. That's the number one takeaway of the 2 or 3 OTAs that we've been able to watch is Brian Thomas looks really good, looks really smooth. He just, again, I'll use the word comfortable. And, I think we've all seen, I don't know if we want to say he has issues with his hands because I don't think that's the right thing, but he did double catch a bunch of balls. And I don't think I've seen him double catch one at all in the ones that we've been out there. So he just looks so much more comfortable. And, they need, man, I know people were talking about trading this kid in the offseason. A lot of people talked about it, but man, they need that element in the offense. There's nobody else that they have that brings that, scares the hell out of the defense over the top element that he brings. I mean, he runs 4.3. Like, are we forgetting? I think people forget, guys that run 4.3, you don't find them very often. So I always thought he was going to be a major part of their offense going forward. And if his mind is right and he's completely healthy and over whatever he was dealing with last year, then I don't see any reason why he can't be the same effective player and the same big play guy that he was as a rookie.
I think Travis Hunter could give you some of that if, forced into that role, but that's beside the point here. When Liam Cohen first got the job, Mike, he said, look, I'm going to run the offense through Brian Thomas. Right now, over the last couple of weeks, he's talking about, hey, this is not an offense that runs through one guy. So was that a case of he didn't realize what kind of collection at the time? They hadn't drafted Travis Hunter. They didn't know what Parker Washington was going to be. Jacoby Myers was not part of this team. Was that just kind of like Liam Cohen making that point out of necessity when he first got hired before he kind of realized what kind of landscape he'd be in?
Yeah, I think that's what it was because, if you're watching tape of the Jags and you're Liam Cohen and you're taking that job, you go, I got one playmaker and that's the guy in the pass game. And look what he did. And, 80 balls for 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. I mean, that's just a natural. Who else are you going to run that offense through or the pass offense through? So I think that's what that was for sure. And now, obviously, I mean, he mentioned that sort of, gosh, I want to say at the end of the season, he mentioned that thing where There's no number one guy in this offense. Because I asked him, I said, does Brian Thomas come back as wide receiver one? And he said the same thing. No, we spread it around here. There is no wide receiver one and all that stuff. But all I know is this. Brian Thomas had a lot of struggles last year, injuries, what have you. He was the guy they put Pat Surtain on in Denver and just said, take that guy. That's the guy. You worry about him, and we'll deal with the rest of those guys. So he still is a guy that defenses have to account for. So, I don't know if defenses will account for Parker Washington in the same way that they account for Brian Thomas Jr. Maybe, like you mentioned, Travis Hunter, but I still don't have any idea on how much he's going to play offensively. I know he'll play some, but how much? But, yeah, I think if Brian Thomas, like I said, is back to what he was as a rookie, this offense has got a chance to score 30 a game and be top 2 or 3 scoring offenses in the league.
We know Travis Hunter's out there getting the mental reps on the field right now, and he seems to be itching to go, right, to let him off the leash a little bit there in practice. Have you gotten any hints about when or if you're ever going to be able to see the simulator they're using in the building to get him those mental reps?
I am working on that to get in there and take a look at it because I think it's really cool. And they expanded it. It was in one of the meeting rooms, and I guess I don't know if they knocked a wall down or what, but they made it into 2. And it's apparently huge, and it's a phenomenal experience where you can just stand back there and he can see all the defense in front of him and all the offense coming at him. There's some things it limits you. Obviously, you can't really get physical with those receivers or anything like that, but it's really it's more of a mental exercise, like you said, than anything else. And I'm really looking forward to getting in there if I can just convince them to let me spend 10 minutes in there.
Right. Well, and other than that, D-Rock, any specific stories you're working on, or are you just going to let the play on the field kind of dictate that for the next few days?
Yeah, a little bit of that, but I'm also working on, a look at the running backs with Tootin and LaQuinn Allen. This is a really big opportunity for those guys because you don't know, what their roles completely are yet. And if they can have a really good mandatory mini camp, and if they can come back for training camp and continue to be the impressive guys they've been so far in the OTAs, then maybe that changes what their role might be. Maybe that causes Liam Cohen to go, you know what? Maybe this needs to be more of an even mix between these 3 guys. And maybe we need to get LaQuinn Allen the ball more, as a running back and not just as a pass catcher or a third down guy. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I also, again, want to see what that safety rotation looks like. And I think Antonio Johnson, if you said give me like 2 or 3 guys that have been really impressive in OTAs, and, Brian Thomas Jr. would be one. Antonio Johnson would be another. I think he's picked up right where he left off at the end of last season. So I'm interested to see, how he does in this camp. The linebacker, strong side linebacker, I'll keep an eye on that. I don't know how much, that's even going to be in play for them this season. But who is out there when they use that lineup? Is it Branson Combs? Is it Ventrell Miller? And, what are they thinking in that area?
All right. Plenty to choose from, D-Rock, no doubt about it. We appreciate you hopping on and look forward to your coverage over the next few days before we go into the quiet period before training camp. But thanks for your time this morning, as always.
Appreciate it, fellas.
All right, buddy. There he goes. At ESPN Duraco on the socials is where you find Mike Duraco of ESPN. Tone, a lot of thoughts about Brian Thomas. I know you have a bunch as well, so let's talk about him in this wide receiver room a little bit as this first hour rolls on. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Mike Duraco with a training camp or a mini camp preview right there for you on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. You know they're owned and operated by a Jacksonville family. The Thompsons since way back in 1956. I can do the math. That's 70 years ago. They've been selling Dandy sandwiches since they were sold out of beer flats on the counter of your local store, unrefrigerated, right by the register. You get a quarter would have got you a ham and cheese. The prices have gone up a little bit, but compare Dandy's prices to what it costs to get you a meal in the drive-thru or any fast food restaurant at all, and and Dandy's going to come out on top every single time because they're fresh, made with the highest quality ingredients. Again, locally sourced as often as possible. Phenomenal variety. I love the classic tuna sandwich, but maybe you like the authentic Cuban with an authentic Cuban bread backing a delicious home-style cranberry chicken salad. They have so many to choose from, including a full breakfast menu. If you're hungry for food on the go in Duval, Dandy's the name to know. So when you are, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson custom windows and doors studios of 1010XL. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, care starts with listening, one-on-one consultations, clear answers, and a plan built around you. Our orthopedic surgeons, sports medicine physicians, and rehabilitation specialists work together to treat injuries, manage chronic pain, and restore strength and mobility. From your first check-in to your personalized treatment plan, everything is designed to help you move forward with confidence. Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, expert care, improving lives.
Jaguars Today Monday is built by Dream Finders Homes.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. Wait, is that Ronaldinho? Ronaldinho, you think Brazil will win it all this summer?
Claro que sí.
Can I just say, you're my favorite player ever. Bet all of soccer's biggest matches this summer on Hard Rock Bet. And keep your cool in case you run into Ronaldinho. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and back your country. Roll with us. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
This is Victor Patel, CEO of North Florida Medical Center. Have you been in an auto accident? Are you feeling pain or stiffness? Our board-certified team has over 15 years experience helping patients recover through chiropractic care, physical therapy, pain management, primary care, and neurology. Even minor injuries can cause long-term problems if left untreated. Schedule your free consultation today at nfmcjax.com. North Florida Medical Center, bringing the care back to healthcare.
Want to stretch that dollar? Taylor Doll here to help save you money with the Money Pages magazine and app. Trying to figure out dinner? Money Pages has deals at your favorite local restaurants. Need auto repairs or an oil change? Money Pages has coupons to help you save. Looking to do some home improvement projects? Money Pages has deals on everything home, from AC repair and plumbing to flooring and painting. Check your mailbox for Money Pages today and download the app for savings on the go.
Jacksonville, you voted, and Baker Glass came out on top. The Bold City Best Awards are all about locals choosing their favorites, and you picked them for Best Auto Glass and Best Glass and Mirror Service.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey friends, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Have you ever stored a gallon of leftover paint, opened the can years later, and it's rusty, crusty, and unusable? Next time, secure the lid tightly to ensure no leaks and store the can upside down. Oxygen can't get to it, therefore no rust and no crust. If you'd like more tips or have a question about a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting! Royal Pest Services, a local company you can trust. Royal Pest is a certified installer of tap insulation, which stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Reduce that electric bill by adding pest protection. It's that easy. Online at royalpestservices.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, kind of circling around some ideas for Tuesday Top 5 this week. Maybe position battles, deep cuts to make the roster, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're getting to the point here, Tone, another, month or so, maybe a month and a half, where the top 5 will be shelved.
Yeah.
For
we got a few more weeks
season.
we got to come up with.
We can, and you know what? Yeah. I think we've stuck. Have we done anything non-Jaguar?
Not yet.
It's been a while, right? Like, and now will be the time to do it, though, right? After minicamp,
when the players are on vacay, I think the top 5 may open up a little bit.
Hopefully, you know what I don't want to do is like top 5 worst off the field stories of the Jags.
Yeah.
You know,
Something happens that gets us into that mode. Yeah.
Let's not go down that road if we don't have to. I think they're a pretty smart group. You know what I mean? Like the whole football character, overall, just general character of the team. Anybody can make a stupid mistake, but I gotta believe, even though Liam Cohen, I think, has them all focused and heading in the right direction. I think it's easier when you've got the national media still not buying into you 100%.
Right. And it was fun last offseason when the big kind of off the field stories were Trevor was traveling with Brian and Diami to go to work out.
Right.
Right. Like, that's the kind of stuff that we've had now for several years. Basically, since Trevor got here, that's been the kind of stories that we've had in the offseason outside of whatever chaos Urban kind of added to the mixture, week to week with that kind of stuff. But he was kind of off the radar even in the offseason. Right? Like, nothing had happened with him yet.
Anybody steal anybody old man's groceries and throw them in the lake or anything like that.
Nothing like that. We haven't had any of that kind of thing here recently with the Jaguars, and I don't get the sense that it's a locker room with a bunch of guys that they're risking that kind of thing.
We're going to get into the wide receiver room here in a minute. And really, when we talk about the wide receiver room, we're focusing generally on the top 4 guys, right? Yeah. But since the name Diami Brown got brought up, okay, the Jags have a lot of ways to go with the ball this year. I mean, really, how are they going to keep everybody happy? You've got to have some of that mentality of my numbers may suffer for the good of the team, right? Like, you just got to be happy when Brenton Strange has his big day or Parker Washington has his big day or whatever the case may be if you're one of these other guys. But would you bet right now that one of Josh Cameron or CJ Williams outperforms Diami Brown's numbers from last year, or maybe both? Even though they're 5th and 6th on the depth chart.
What did he wind up with?
It couldn't have been much, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't even playing really down the stretch last year.
No, after the first 5 or 6 weeks, he was pretty much done.
Give me total numbers for Diami Brown. Catches, what, in the 20s?
Pulling it up now, he had... Thank you. Yes, I will continue without supporting you here on the website. 20 catches on 37 targets.
Okay.
227 receiving. We know he dropped at least one touchdown.
Yeah.
Right? When everything is said and done, but he did catch one.
And when you're catching 20 balls and you drop one in the end zone, like Brian Thomas had, even not happening with Liam Cohen, he had some equity built up in this offense.
And we talk a lot about the flag that was thrown on the Hunter play in that game.
Mm-hmm.
If Diami holds on to the ball,
wouldn't have mattered.
They don't need that play. Right? Like that kind of thing. It was, and then the last play we saw Diami Brown have in a Jaguars uniform, they put him back on the field late in the game where they had it in control. They ran that end around to him. Right? The jet sweep look to him. He fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Right? And when we all saw it, we were like, well, that may be the last rep Diami gets in a Jaguars uniform.
And it basically was.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes you take a swing and a miss, and they've done that. They've taken swings on guys a couple of times that they're projecting for bigger roles. It didn't work out with him.
And he is the poster child for why you take whatever's going to happen here for the next 3 days with a grain of salt. Because Diami was certainly one of the guys throughout the offseason into training camp last year that was every day was making plays. Right, in the Jaguars, it was every day. Diami was doing something to stand out.
And I think they felt like they had to get him the ball at that point in time.
Like that kind of thing was happening. Didn't translate, obviously, to the regular season last year for Diami Brown. Not that he didn't have opportunities. Right, he had earned opportunities early in the season, including the drop against Cincinnati. That could have made a difference in that game. He just didn't come through in the moment. So all of this stuff is just kind of window dressing for what the regular season is going to look like. But that doesn't mean we're not looking in the window, right, to see what this may look like, when everything does come together for the football team. So we'll see.
I mean, you just feel you should feel so much better about the position they find themselves in weapons-wise going into this year. So let's talk about some of those weapons.
Yeah.
After a quick time out here, we'll wrap up hour number 1 with a little deeper look at the wide receiver room for the Jacksonville Jaguars on the eve of mandatory minicamp. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Door Studios. Superior products, exceptional service.
Fridays on 1010XL are evolving.
Introducing The Lead with Hayes Carline and Ryan O'Halloran.
4 to 6 Friday afternoons on 1010XL.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Dream Finders Homes Monday on Jaguars Today.
Hurricane season is here. Is your home storm ready? Renewal by Andersen is offering storm season savings with buy one, get one 40% off windows and doors. Plus, 0 down, 0 payments, and 0% interest for 1 full year. In recent years, storms have caused tens of billions of dollars in damage across Florida. Prepare your home now with our Claim Impact Windows. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free design consultation. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Summer break means the kids are home and your plumbing is working overtime. If something's acting up and backing up, call Duck Duck Rooter. We've got years of experience and honest pricing that's as straightforward as our fixes. With the Summer Splash Plumbing promotion, receive 1 free drain cleaning with any plumbing repair of $500 or more. Fix what's wrong, clear what's clogged, and get back to enjoying your summer.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
If you've been searching for answers to your quarterback questions, he's the lighthouse to guide you home.
I'm Denny Thompson, and they call me the quarterback whisperer.
He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drill. Tuned up by
Encore Research Group
and George Moore Chevrolet.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care, totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Hey guys, Hicken here. You know Zero Res won't let rising gas prices stop you from having a clean and healthy home. Flash sale time, baby. Oh yeah, call and book Zero Res this week. You get 3 rooms carpet cleaned for $149 and you get a 4th room for free. Flash sale, a no-brainer if you have 4 rooms in your house. Flash sale also includes $75 off air duct cleaning. So this week only, visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them 1010XL sent you for the flash sale.
Zero Res.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about the importance of cutting a diamond properly and how it relates back to beauty and value. But how do you judge the color of a diamond?
Frank, that's an important question when it comes to diamonds. You see, a man or a woman really have no color memory. Now, you can remember basic colors like blue or red, but considering we can see thousands of slight variations of the same color, you have to have a master color to relate these two. Anybody that's ever tried to match a paint color on a wall knows exactly what I'm talking about. So we judge the color of diamonds using a set of certified master diamonds from the American Gem Society. This is the only way you can really make an accurate call on the grade because these slight variations in color from colorless to very slight yellow have huge price differences.
That's at Underwood's, where diamonds are graded accurately in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's team time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
This one on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, Tony, in terms of my my state of being right now. From Darren, he said, I always called it a COD bath. That's cologne over dirt. Hope you feel better soon. I feel just fine. Thank you very much. I told Tony, I got all kinds of old man problems, orthopedic problems that you don't need to worry about. But honestly, the pain management has been more important for them, the ones I didn't have surgery on, than the one that I did have surgery on right now. So, and I don't ever wear cologne. I think I wore polo back in the day. I went through a patchouli phase because I was a dirty hippie for a while. Nothing against dirty hippies. I was one of you back in like the early 90s, you know.
That's why you did it the way you did it.
That's kind of how I rolled, you know, with my long raggedy hair and all that good stuff and everything else that came with it. But today would be a good day to go full Aqua Velva. I bought Aqua Velva once when I was a kid because Pete Rose was an endorser for Aqua Velva.
Right.
What is that anyway? It's like aftershave lotion?
I think so.
Like, why do you need aftershave lotion? What is...
I don't know. Because we were all cutting up our faces at a certain time. I guess so, yeah.
I'm thinking if you had a cut on your face and you splash a little Aqua Velva on there, that probably would not have felt too good.
Like maybe it's like what the oil you use on a baseball glove, like you're trying to toughen up your face.
You toughen it up, or maybe you're softening it up, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man, but
we got lotion for that. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as Tony can deal with it, nobody else needs to really deal with it. We'll be good moving forward. Let's hope. All right, now let's talk a little wide receiver room here, Tone. It's a pretty broad question, but who's the most important receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars right now?
Right. Like we did the top 5 last week, right? And I had Brian Thomas Jr. in my 5.
You did?
Right. And I was debating hard between Brian Thomas and Parker Washington. And I had said at the day that I put the list together that Tuesday, we had talked to Ryan O in the first segment, like that 10-15 segment that morning, and I hadn't decided which guy to go with. And him talking about what he had seen from Brian to that point, I was like, now he's going to be on my list, right? And I do think right now, if I have to answer that question, I would say Brian, because he gives them something that no one else on the offense can give them. Like, he is still the deep threat guy.
Could Travis Hunter give you that if you needed him to be that guy?
I've said all along with this whole thing with Travis, if they wanted to just make him the number 1 wide receiver, I think he would be, right? If they only wanted to feature him as a wide receiver and feature him that way, I think that he would be the number 1 for this football team. But they have the flexibility to play him on both sides of the ball, and they need him more on defense, it appears right now, because of the options that they have in the passing game at the wide receiver spot, including Brian Thomas Jr., which we've had these conversations throughout the last several months, right? Since the season ended, throughout last season as well with Brian, I have very much still been on the train of, I think it's still there. Like, I've expressed my belief that he can still get back to the guy that he was as a rookie over and over and over again. And I do think it's at least moving more in that direction with what we've heard about him for the last couple of weeks. Doesn't mean that it definitely is, but
I agree.
Feels like it's moving that way.
Well, and it's coming out of his own mouth, right? That I'm glad he didn't show up and go, oh, man, no big deal. You go through ups and downs. He's like, no, more attention to detail. Want to make sure I'm on the same page, talking about the chemistry and how important that is. Keeping in mind, he had a lot of his productivity with Mac Jones at quarterback, right?
Yes.
That doesn't mean he couldn't have done it with Trevor Lawrence, but that's not the way it played out. And when those targets were going 10, 12 a game, they were coming from Mac Jones. Yeah. And it was simple. It was like, see Brian, throw to Brian, right? And it was that easy. Little crossing routes, just get the ball in his hands. Yes, they took some deep shots as well. I do think that is the number 1 thing he brings to this team. Obviously, he is the fastest of the receivers. Even I think if you put him in a foot race with Travis Hunter, he'd probably win it. Right? Don't let Travis hear that. Yeah. But
he's the one who draws the respect of the defense when he's out there. Like, he draws eyes. Yeah.
But I do think Hunter could play that role.
I do too.
If you needed him to. You still agree? Now, we talked about this, I don't know, several times over the offseason. Who do you think the number 1 receiver will be in terms of production? Parker Washington is the guy that most people have settled on.
I've thought that throughout most of the process. I'm more and more leaning to Brian.
You're swinging to Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'll say that I feel like Parker is probably an underrated deep threat. Right? He's not 6'2". He's never going to be 6'2", but he does have a way of high pointing the ball. I think he's got kind of sneaky speed, and he's been able to make contested catches. But I don't know if there's one thing just in the receiving game that you can't replicate that Parker gives you in any given week. That doesn't mean I still would bet on Parker Washington being that number 1 guy. I wonder if Jacoby Myers is not the most indispensable wide receiver, though, in this room. Because what he brings, as a run blocker and just as a sure-handed, we're going back. We were talking the other day off the air. Who are the most trustworthy receivers that Trevor's had? Go back to maybe Marvin Jones, right? Marvin Jones Jr. was a guy he really believed in on third down. And I could see Jacoby being that guy and the influence he had catching the ball. It's crazy to say, but it felt like it became contagious when he got here last year.
Jacoby's the easiest one to put on the field when they go 21. Right? Like he's the guy that it's the easiest to see the path for him staying on the field in those kind of situations because he is still a receiving threat. He's a more than willing blocker. He's good at it, right? Like that kind of thing. So he obviously has that kind of role. And we all saw what happened for Parker Washington last year. I don't think it happens without Jacoby being there. Right, to take up some of that middle of the field space. And I think the availability of Jacoby Myers and Britton Strange, the combination of those guys, make a guy like Parker more dangerous because he can get one-on-one matchups, especially when Brian's on the other side of the field.
Well, somebody on the text line just said, hey, look, Pat Surtain, and we've mentioned this a million times, covered BTJ, and Parker, that opened it up for him. But my point being, at that point in the season, you didn't have Travis Hunter.
Right.
And if you said, okay, now, granted, you're going to need him at corner as well, but in a world where we're just focusing on the wide receiver room and what you could do on any given Sunday, if you said, all right, Travis, we need you to clear guys out and run a bunch of deep routes this week, and some other stuff as well, some crossing patterns, I think that what he has shown, he could be that threat for this football team. So I do think Brian's the most accomplished at it right now and the most obvious guy at it who's going to play full-time at wide receiver. I just don't know if they don't have that in their back pocket if necessity, forced you into that kind of a bigger role for Travis Hunter.
It's part of the beauty of the flexibility of Travis Hunter, right? Like if you get to a situation where you need a little bit more of that from him, I think he does offer that. In the offense, if they want to feature him more on that side of the ball, because whatever happens, like in that wide receiver room, I think he is more than capable of giving you those kind of looks if they need it from him. But like we've said throughout this offseason, like we know that the bigger need for them seems to be for Hunter to play more corner. Now, we don't know exactly how any of this is going to look once they get on the football field because they've not committed to anything, right, in regard to Travis Hunter, except we're going to play him on offense and defense. Like, that's as far as they've been willing to go with that kind of thing. It makes more sense for him to play a lot more defense this year. I don't know if that means that he's going to play 70% of the snaps on defense and still get half the snaps on offense.
Right.
Like when everything is said and done, we just don't know till we get him out on the field.
And I don't know if we'll know week to week either.
Right.
I think it's going to be a really high percentage of defensive snaps. If he stays healthy and everybody else does as well on the offensive side. All right, hour 2 coming up. If you want to get in, talk a little Jaguar ball as they head into mandatory minicamp. The way to do it, 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines. We'll check in on the text line as well as on social media, asking you today, what are the storylines you're most looking forward to following from Jaguar minicamp? This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for big number one Duval Ford. Look, if your business runs on trucks, you know this. Downtime, simply not an option. It's why businesses trust the Duval Ford Pro Elite Commercial Service Center. They have a state-of-the-art facility built for commercial vehicles with oversized service bays that can handle everything from vans to heavy-duty bucket trucks and everything in between, plus extended hours that'll keep your fleet moving. With mobile service that comes to your job site, Duval Ford will help maximize uptime and productivity. That's big number one Duval Ford, 1616 Cassett Avenue.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Big play, 35 from the 16. Mark at the line of scrimmage. Takes the snap, turns, looking for Jimmy in the end zone. Touchdown, Jaguars! Touchdown, Jaguars! Touchdown, Jaguars!
Home of the Jaguars, 1010XL.
Florida's sun and storms means your roof has probably seen better days. If you're wondering about its condition, visit endlesssummerroofing.com to schedule a free, no-pressure inspection. Endless Summer Roofing. protecting your home from Florida's endless summers.
Jaguars Today.
You're settled into a Dream Finders Homes Monday.
What percentage of your body weight is comprised of blood? The answer next.
When your homeowner's insurance policy is up for renewal, it's a good idea to shop around to find a better plan. Southern Oak Insurance for over 20 years provides Floridians a clear option. SouthernOak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Blood comprises approximately 8% of your body weight. Same for your head, which generally weighs about 10 pounds.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Right now at Beard's Diamonds, pay $0 down and get 0 interest financing for 5 whole years. Yes, you heard it right. That $12,000 designer engagement ring is yours for just $200 a month. This makes everything affordable. How about a $6,000 diamond eternity band, just $100 a month? Say goodbye to high interest rates. Get the relief you deserve at Beard's Diamonds. But hurry, this incredible offer ends June 30th and will not be extended. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, only $50 a month? Make any purchase and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 down and 0 interest financing. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, colored gemstone jewelry. Let the non-commission experts at Beards help you find the perfect piece of jewelry and take advantage of our best financing offer ever. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center, Jacksonville's premier locally owned jeweler. Shop now and enjoy 0 interest financing for 5 years. Hurry, this amazing offer ends June 30th. On approved credit, some restrictions apply. See store for details.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. ET here, and it's bigger game days and UFC fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that's always coming through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late at night? Only at Twin Peaks, your #1 sports bar.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, Checkmate mascot and cultural ambassador.
Summer is a perfect time to have your garage floor coating installed. With our chemicals drying even faster in the warmer weather, it's a busy time for us, but we can still keep our prices surprisingly affordable.
And with 0% financing available, you can enjoy your floor now and pay for it later.
And Chester can enjoy his fancy British tea that I have to pay for.
I do enjoy a nice Darjeeling, Brendan, and the quality is important.
And at Checkmate, the highest quality is our minimum standard.
On flooring and tea.
Gorgeous garage floors?
Check. Perfect installation?
Check. Easy payment options that make your great new floor affordable? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. If you love your dad or husband, but their garage is a mess, I've got good news for you. Closets by Design's Father's Day sale is here. Imagine custom cabinets for tools and beach gear, storage walls that actually organize the chaos, and durable new garage flooring that makes the whole space feel brand new. It's the perfect gift for just about any dad. Right now, get 40% off plus an extra 15% off plus free installation. Stop by their showroom on Phillips Highway to see the possibilities for yourself. Or online, closetsbydesign.com.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by USA Airport Park. The Jaguars enter Phase 3 of the offseason with mandatory minicamp running tomorrow through the 11th, giving veterans 3 days of work before OTAs conclude later this month. Starting tomorrow, we've got every remaining Stanley Cup final matchup as the Hurricanes take on the Golden Knights. Listen live on 1010 AM with the puck dropping at 7:30. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
Right now, 85 degrees at 11:03, time and 10, brought to you by Bueller Aaron Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
I say, Tone, as I try to settle back into somewhat of a normal routine, I'm glad I have next week off. I planned it pretty well. It's that time of year when you and I will be alternating weeks coming up here pretty soon. But I'm not a breakfast eater for the most part, unless Mike DeRocco's buying,
Right.
for breakfast bowl.
Every now and then. Prepare yourself, RJ.
And let me tell you,
it's coming.
You drink one of these energy drinks on an empty stomach after not having one for a week. I am bouncing off the walls right now. Let me tell you here at the 1010XL studios.
The body remembers what to do with that. Good to know.
Holy cow, I'm alert, Tony. I am awake and alert. That is for sure. All right, 641-1010 if you want to get in on the Key Buick GMC phone lines. Robert out in Keystone going to kick off hour number 2 here on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Robert.
Hey, good morning. Glad you're doing well, Mike. Prayers answered.
Appreciate it.
Besides the obvious 3 on special teams, who are you guys expecting that they definitely must bring back for special teams? And who are some of the guys y'all are looking for to make the team for their contributions on special teams?
Okay. Number one guy, I mean, when he says the 3 guys, he's talking about the specialists, right? Yeah. Obviously, your kicker, your punter, your long snapper, or near the top of the league. Collectively may be the top of the league, but Ray Lane's the first guy you think of, Tone. Yeah. Was so impactful, but doesn't it have to be like all these guys, CJ Williams, Josh Cameron, all these guys have to carve out a niche on special teams. Now, you can look at, I saw Shipley's projected 53-man. Did you take a look at that?
Not yet.
All right. He threw a projected 53-man out there, and he had both the rookie receivers making the team and the Jags only having 5 at receivers because he's counting Travis Hunter as a defensive back. Sure. So I would suspect, and from everything you hear, every time CJ Williams' name gets brought up, they kind of perk up. Like, they really like what they have in him. Keep in mind, I think they took Cameron ahead of him. But all those kind of guys, all the late-round draft picks are going to have to carve it out. I mean, guys that are not locked, anybody who's not locked into a starting spot has to make some kind of contribution on this team on special teams, you would think, other than maybe the offensive lineman.
Right, and I think it's interesting, given the profile he had coming in, even when he was drafted, it was part of the conversation with Wesley Williams, right? Like, that he was an impact special teams player at Duke. So I would expect that kind of thing is going to be available for him, to still have whatever impact he's going to have on coverage teams for the Jaguars would be my guess. I think because of the way that the kickoff play has changed, it's a bit more difficult to figure out exactly what that looks like. What kind of players are you looking to get on the field in those kind of moments? I think Ray Lane, there are guys, we talk about it a lot with the running back position and the way that you can earn more reps like a LaQuint Allen. If you're the guy that can be the third down guy that we trust to pick it up, right? Like, you're going to keep the quarterback from getting hit. Your opportunities are going to grow kind of naturally if you can earn that kind of role, if you show them anything as a runner, right? Because you're going to be on the field in those kind of situations. I think there is something to, if you offer something in special teams, they want to find a way to feature you doing more than that if they can, right? So if they can find a bigger role for a guy like Ray Lane, I think they would like to. They drafted him when they drafted him last year. They love what he gives them on special teams. I don't think they want to be locked into he's only a special teams guy. I think they would love it for him to be more than the special teams guy, but they can be okay with him being that.
You can have one guy, right? You can have a Montel Owens or Kasim Osgood type guy. You can have one guy like that who that is really what he's known for. But a guy like Devin Marshall, right? Undrafted player, if he's going to make this team,
it's where it has to happen.
He's got to make a contribution because he's probably not going to leapfrog all the guys that are ahead of him. Who knows where he ends up? Maybe he ends up third on the depth chart at cornerback. I don't know. But there's a lot of competition there. What about Jamari Taylor, Tone? Can he do something as a kickoff returner maybe? Because, the odds are they're going to have 3 running backs on the active roster, right? So you're going to have to do something above and beyond. That's presuming that Rodriguez is back by training camp and the top 3 guys are performing as you expect. So to have a 4th guy, a rookie undrafted guy, make the roster at that spot may be difficult. So it's guys like that are going to have to make an impact there to really get on the coach's radar if they're going to get high consideration to make the final 53.
Right, and I think it's a fair question to be asked, how much do they want to use Bashal Tutin as a kick returner? Right, because he did have that kind of role last year for the football team. It made sense because he wasn't a featured back.
Right.
He was one of the other guys behind Achane last year in the offense. So, all right, we're going to get him touches in the return game. How much do they want to use him in the return game? Because how close is he to being featured in the offense this year? We don't know.
Right.
What that's going to look like, but do they want to protect him being exposed in those kind of areas. Look, Parker Washington is a fantastic punt returner, among the best in the league, this year, but they don't use him in kick return for whatever reason.
And they could. I think he's built like he could return kicks and withstand the pounding.
But it doesn't feel like it's something you're going to add to his plate now if you're planning on featuring him more on offense this year than he's been featured to this point in his career. Still going to be the punt returner, I would assume.
I was just going to ask you that. Do you think Parker Washington will be the primary punt returner for this football team?
For this year, yes.
I do too. I think you have enough depth at wide receiver. And there may be occasions. Look, if you're up 14, in the third quarter, maybe you're going to run somebody out there. Josh Cameron's been a return guy. There are other options that you can run out there. But I think I don't think it's going to be so clear cut. Like, even if I think Parker Washington is going to end up being the number one receiver, it may be in the 950-yard range, right? You might have a bunch of guys in that 800 to 950. And you don't – if you were a 1,400-yard guy – then you're probably saying, no, I'm not going to risk him out there in those circumstances. But he's such a game breaker.
Then he goes to full Tyreek Hill mode. We need a big punt return, big moment in a game. We put Parker back there.
You're out there maybe once every couple of games or twice every couple of games, something like that. But I think they're deep enough right now. And plus, you got to factor in all the 12 and 13 personnel packages that, they could probably – I'm not saying they want anybody to get hurt. You never want anybody to get hurt. But no. I don't know how big of a risk it is. Anytime you're on the football field, there's a risk of injury, but you can't tell me those plays are not huge. Parker took 3 to the house, 1 overturned due to penalty. That is game-changing impact on special teams. That'll win you a football game or two if he has that kind of, same level of success that he had last year.
Well, it's constantly gaining field position in the special teams game. They did it all season last year, right? And a lot of that is Parker and his ability as a punt returner. And you only need him to do it, 2 times a month for it to be massive impact in a league where so many games are decided by one score. Well, if you're the guy who puts him in position for the score to be easier to get in a bunch of one-score games, right, that is massive impact on the outcome of some of these football games. So for now, I think you still want to use Parker, feature him in that kind of role. We'll see what that contract looks like for him when it gets done. That's still out there.
Do you think
in the
it's
air.
Still right? Like with Liam Cohen going, this offense not going to run through any one guy. Is some of that, even if it's inadvertently, a leverage play?
I think there is the potential for if they don't get the deal done with Parker between now and the season, right, and he plays on the contract year, they don't get it done throughout the season. If BTJ has a monster year, like it feels like he could, not that he will, but that he could, the leverage they'd have in the Parker negotiations, right? Like I do think, and I think you use that now in whatever negotiations you're having with Parker he may want to push the number higher and they go, look, this is where we're comfortable going. We want you, but it's going to be at this kind of number.
Well, one of the contracts that people had raised eyebrows at is the Christian Watson deal. So we'll talk about that when we come back and go around the rest of the National Football League. Christian Watson, who, collectively has not put up the numbers of Parker Washington, but in part because he's missed a ton of time as a former first-round pick in the same draft as Washington, just got paid pretty considerably over the weekend, considering the numbers that he's been able to put up in his career for the Green Bay Packers. So we'll get into that when we come back, and we'll go around the National Football League with Tony Smith and RJ Saunders. I'm Mike Dempsey. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for 5-Star Bath Solutions. Man, have I ever looked more forward to a shower than I am today? Well, I get to do it in my beautiful new walk-in shower from 5-Star Bath Solutions. Locally owned, super fast. They got in, completed our project in just a couple of days, and why not go with them? Customer service ratings, 4.9 average on Google reviews, and I give them my full endorsement. We shopped around. They were the company to go with a full lifetime warranty on products, labor, and materials. That's 5-Star Bath Solutions at 5starbathsolutions.com online.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
The commander had me continue transmission.
Do you have the sequence yet?
The sequence is
1010XL.
Okay, go now.
92.5 FM.
Got a dent or a scratch that needs fixing? San Jose Collision in Mandarin offers expert auto body repair and works with all insurance. Family owned and locally trusted. San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Dream Finders Homes Monday.
Jaguars Today.
Need or want cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Living on Amelia Island? Having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mokama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mokama magic is what it's all about. Mokama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mokama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Fathers are a gift, and 1010XL has some great gift options from Beaches Dermatology, Houston's Meats, Kuhn Flowers, and Green Acres Sporting Goods. Gift ideas for Father's Day are a click away at 1010XL.com.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm Rick Ballou. DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, Florida. The whole world is watching one tournament right now. Group stage chaos, knockout drama, stoppage time heartbreak. The DraftKings Sports app is now live in Florida, so whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late match at the bar, you are in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app. Right here in Florida, the world's biggest stage in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with the code 1010XL, spend $5 and get $200 in total rewards. That's code 1010XL in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss, market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click the claim issued in non-withdrawable. Predictions, dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends June 28th. Terms dkng.co/predictions promo.
Buying a home with a septic system? Then there's one step you absolutely cannot skip, the inspection. Know for sure before you close. Call Duck Duck Rooter, Northeast Florida's only master septic contractor with the experience to inspect your system the right way, so there are no surprises later. Right now, take $50 off a full septic system inspection, including a detailed report. The small step that can save you from a big mistake.
When you're stuck, call the duck.
904-862-6769.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Apparently, our friend Duval Doom is that Aqua Velva man to this day.
Oh.
Tony says that stuff is the bomb. I may have misquoted them on that one, but you get the gist of it. Anyway, so
sounds like something you probably said when you were buying it.
He kind of looks like an Aqua Velva man. I don't even know what that means, but I just if you told me that Doom was an Aqua Velva man, I'd believe it. And since it came from his own mouth, by the way, looking svelte, man. Have you seen the latest pictures of Duval Doom?
Oh yeah,
he's always been
in the work. Yeah,
he's never been shy about posting photos. If I were him, I'd be posting every 30 minutes right now. Looking good, Doom. So keep it up. All right, why don't we take a look around the National Football League?
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Arizona quarterback Jacoby Brissett, who has not been present for the team's voluntary portion of the offseason as he looks for a new contract from the team, will reportedly be in attendance for the team's mandatory minicamp next week there in Arizona, or this week in Arizona. Tampa Bay quarterback Baker Mayfield, who is entering the final year of his current deal, said on Friday that he wants to stay in Tampa long term and wants to get a new deal done and to make that happen, but did put a start of training camp deadline on discussions about that deal getting done. Denver linebacker Jonathan Cooper was arrested on Friday on domestic violence charges. Cooper and his girlfriend were both arrested after an argument and physical altercation caused by cheating accusations, which apparently resulted in both parties' cell phones being damaged. Cooper was arrested in the early morning hours on Friday, released on his own recognizance later Friday morning. He is scheduled to appear in court again today.
All right, some interesting things going on out there, to be sure. The Christian Watson deal, did that go down before, I guess, towards the end of the week? Did you guys talk about
Thursday,
that?
yeah.
Thursday, okay.
Yeah.
He got 4 years, $110 million from the Green Bay Packers. Only a $31 million signing bonus. I say only, like we all would, love to have a $31 million signing bonus. Right. Would you sign Parker Washington to that deal right now if you're the Jags? And do you think Parker Washington would take that deal?
I think I probably would. My guess would be Parker would sign it too. Like, I do think the potential leverage that Brian Thomas could create, right, going into year 3 for him where he'll be eligible for a contract extension for the first time next offseason. I think if we were having these conversations last year, obviously Parker getting an extension would not even be in our heads. Right, going into last year for Parker Washington.
Sure.
Like, all the conversation would be about, well, you better have some plan, the money set aside for Brian coming off year 3, and what exactly that's going to look like. Get it done as soon as you can. With Brian Thomas Jr., year 2 played out the way that it did. So it kind of took some of the heat off that kind of thing. The Jags are in a really kind of interesting space with all that right now because Brian does look good again in the offseason. What does that mean for 2026? None of us really know. Parker was amazing the back half of the season last year. So I think if it gets done, it's probably going to look a lot like the Walker deal in that it's not exactly going to be what we thought it might be, right? Like, take a little bit. It's not even a hometown discount. It's a get it done now discount, right? And I think Parker, if Jacksonville is where he wants to be, I could see that kind of deal getting done. But if he wants to hit free agency, I wouldn't blame him, when everything is said and done. But I expect the Jaguars would make a fair offer in their minds, which may be a little bit less than maybe we've thought it could be throughout this entire process. And is he willing to say yes to that kind of deal? I do not know.
There's so many levels to this. First, it's the Brian Thomas aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily racing out to give Brian Thomas that top of the market kind of deal after 3 years. I can control Brian Thomas, and granted,
you got a 5th-year option and the tag.
You got the 4th. You have 2 more years on the deal, this year and next year, and the 5th-year option, and then the tag if it comes to that. And so far, their experience has been one kind of disappointing year, right? In the Baselli, Gladstone, Cohen era.
Yeah.
And now maybe that turns around this year. And then if it does, and he is a 1,200-yard guy in an offense where they're talking about spreading the ball around, then maybe they do say, you know what, this guy last year was the aberration, and he's unique to what he brings to the field. But you do have Jacoby, who got extended at $20+ million.
Yep.
Travis Hunter, if he is everything you think he's going to be, is going to be a guy that eventually gets a massive deal. And does he get paid as both a corner and a wide receiver? Can you pay 4 receivers in today's NFL? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that you can. And so
when you're already playing the 2 edges. Yeah.
Right. And your quarterback's making $55 million. You talked about Baker, right? Baker Mayfield in Tampa. The sense everybody has now is they're going to play this out and see where it lands. And you wonder, is there going to end up being that $50 to $60 million group of quarterbacks? And if you don't deserve that money, then they're going to continue to look for the next guy. It's tough to say because when you don't have a quarterback, what is the value of having a guy that you think you can win with, but to what level can they win with Baker, right? And I think they're questioning that right now, whether or not he's worth the $55-60 million. Trevor Lawrence got it. And there were a lot of people that questioned it at the time, but you talk about raw materials and the ability that he brings to the table. I think Trevor Lawrence all day over Baker Mayfield. That's me. Maybe they feel differently down in Tampa, but you compare the Parker Washington situation to what's going on with Christian Watson. Okay, Christian Watson cumulatively has played one more year, 2,264 yards is what he has receiving, averaging 17 yards a catch. Parker's a 12.9 yard a catch guy. Even last year, 14.6, right? The average of Christian Watson has been 17 yards a catch in his time in Green Bay. Parker last year had about 53 yards per game is what he produced, right? Now, Christian Watson has not had a season where he has had 847 yards, but he's had a lot of injuries that have kept him down, and the average per catch has been high. He was a former first-round pick. I think athletically, I think Christian Watson and Brian Thomas have a lot of similarities to their game. Super speedy, kind of tall, can run different routes, but they change the dynamic of what the defense has to look at. We talk about Pat Surtain following Brian Thomas. That would be the guy that he would likely follow for the Green Bay Packers as well. And granted, he hasn't been able to stay healthy, right? He played 10 games last year, played 15 the year before, played 9 games the year before that. He's had a torn ACL in the mix. He did come back pretty strong last year. I don't know, Parker. You look at it, say $110 million. It's all about the guaranteed money. You know, am I going to see all that money? If my signing bonus is $31 million, you can look at that as like a 2-year deal where the bonus counts $15 million a year. And, you know, if you move on from him, it's not that much that gets rolled into your cap immediately. It's fascinating to know, because if you're Parker and you're sitting there going, well, I look at it like I was their number 1 receiver last year. Okay. Are you willing to roll the dice that you're going to be that again in this environment this year? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's a matter of, from a Jaguars perspective, again, I think the Trayvon contract is informative, right, in the kind of conversations they could be having. Because I think open market Trayvon gets more than what he got, right?
Probably so,
right?
Yes.
In that deal with Jacksonville, but he wanted to get it done.
What does Parker get on the open market as an 850-yard receiver?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Right. But it feels like it could be, because of the position, big, especially if he does that kind of thing again this year. And it speaks to, if Watson's worth that kind of money to Green Bay, they have him in-house, so they know what he's worth to them.
Right.
Right? And a lot of this is that. We know what he's worth to us. And Parker does whatever he does in the Jaguars offense. He gives them what he gives them as the punt returner. So I think there's a lot of value in having Parker Washington remain in Jacksonville. I think they can recognize that kind of thing, and whatever negotiations are going on between the two sides right now reflect all of that. If in the end the number isn't exactly what Parker and his side wants it to be, and he wants to bet on himself for another year, fine. Like, I can understand it if he wants to handle it that way. It doesn't mean that either side's not doing it right, you know, at this time of year. Maybe it gets done. I hope it gets done. I'd love to have Parker here long term.
A good dude. He's a hard worker. He's a good player.
Right.
I'm just talking about, you know, you reach a point where you're like, can we load that many big contracts into one position group?
Right.
I don't know if that's the case.
Right.
Or not with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And how much do you factor in, if you're the Jags, the return impact that he makes if you're not going to use him as much as a return man? Now, that may be the case that they are going to, and that's a moot point. But if they're like, hey, you're more valuable as a receiver, we're going to dial that back a little bit. How do you weigh that in a contract negotiation?
And I think it's fair to point out, if Brian Thomas Jr. had a year 2 like he had in year 1, I don't think we'd be having these discussions about Parker. Right, like if we had 2 years of Brian playing at that kind of level, I don't think we'd be having these kind of conversations about Parker. But he didn't, and it opened the door for Parker, and he ran through that open door last year, and we all feel very confident that he can do that again in 2026 for the football team. So the situation is what it is from a Parker and a team perspective with the looming whatever Brian Thomas Jr. is going to wind up being in his still very early young career. The timing of it all happening at the same time, I'm with you. I don't know that you can't afford to pay 4 wide receivers at the same time.
If you're James Gladstone and you could only pay one, are you paying Brenton Strange or Parker Washington?
Strange.
I am too.
Yeah.
Because I think he's more unique to what he does. Again, this is not a shot at Parker whatsoever. He was fantastic last year.
Absolutely.
Right. And as the opportunities increased, his production increased. So if you extrapolate out over the entirety of the season what he did in the second half, you'd be looking at different numbers. But that's if you extrapolate it out, right? And now we're in an environment where you're going to have Jacoby Myers for a full season. Hopefully you have a healthy Travis Hunter. Hopefully you have a reinvigorated Brian Thomas Jr. And you've got a tight end room that's becoming more prominent now, and you want to run the ball a bunch. I mean, again, can you afford to pay that many guys big second or third contracts, as the case may be, depending on where they are in their careers, on an offense where you're going to spread the ball as much as they're talking about spreading the ball? I don't know the answer to that. And that's probably why, one of the many reasons I was not a candidate for the Jaguars GM position. All right, let's come back with today's golden moment. And let's take a look at today's question of the day as well. Some storylines will be interesting. There's Doom. Look at that. He says, I am a sexy bee. You are a sexy bee, Doom. Smile next time in one of those photos. Why don't you? But we'll get into that. Today's question of the day, storylines for minicamp, as we continue along Jaguars Today here in hour 2 on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Feel the roar and chase the wind to victory lane.
Through 3 and 4.
This Sunday at Pocono Raceway.
3 wide for the lead. 1 lap to go.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 on your NASCAR station. 1010XL.
The new MVP of lunch has arrived. Firehouse Subs Steak and Cheese Melt. USDA Choice Flame-Seared Steak, sauteed red and green bell peppers, caramelized onions, melted provolone cheese, and mayo on a toasted sub roll. Steak and Cheese Melt only at Firehouse Subs.
It's Men's Health Month, and Ackerman Urology reminds you that early detection matters for prostate health. If you're over 40, now's the time to get checked. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. So don't wait. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
It's a Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Steak sizzling, drinks flowing, friends gathered together. Your dream backyard starts with CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. You dream it, they build it. Outdoor kitchens, fire pits, fireplaces, and more. Visit CSSFireplaces.com.
This summer, there's no better place to belong than the YMCA. Right now, if you join the Y, we'll waive the joining fee, and your 4th month is free. Start enjoying everything the Y has to offer today. Pools, group fitness, family events, youth programs, and a supportive community that's here for you. At the Y, it's more than a membership. It's a place to connect, grow, and thrive. There's no place like this place. Join the Y at fcymca.org and use code FREEMONTH.
Preparation for the season begins now. 1010XL's coverage of this year's organized team activities is brought to you by Cash Building Material, Windows Done Right, and Dexafit Jacksonville. Know your body, transform your life.
College football isn't just a season, it's a sisterhood. Bold Ladies is the women's membership group of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, where community, connection, and college football come together. This is Stacy from 1010XL, and I enjoy my membership. From exclusive events to networking, philanthropy, and unforgettable game day experiences, Bold Ladies is where women make an impact. Visit TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com and join today.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, pal. Where have you been?
Out on the town, every night.
Way to go, Tiger.
Well, it's a bit of a mystery, Jason. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm getting all these Visa gift cards in the mail. I'm spending them as fast as I can, but...
Wait, you're getting random gift cards in the mail?
$25, $100. I'm buying drinks, I'm buying dinner. I don't think I'm cut out to be a social butterfly, Jason.
Pal, those are from our Bueller Air and Plumbing referral program.
They are?
Yeah. If you recommend Bueller Air and Plumbing, to a friend or family member and they book us for a service call, we send you a $25 Visa gift card as a thank you. And if we install a new system, we send a $100 gift card.
So if I take a girl out and tell her about Bueller, I might get enough to take another girl out and tell her about Bueller?
I mean, it's not the worst idea you've had.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
The 2026 schedule is here, and Jaguars football is officially back at the bench. With limited capacity this season, it's more important than ever to show up loud and create the ultimate home field advantage. From our biggest rivalries to can't-miss matchups, this is a season you won't want to miss. Single game tickets are on sale, and now's the time to lock in your seats for the games that matter most. Inventory is limited, and tickets are expected to go fast. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
A lot of golden moment possibilities today. I had Mike DeRocco on from ESPN. If you missed any of that, you can go back on demand and listen as we previewed Jaguars minicamp. That as well could be a golden moment on the eve of minicamp, but we'll probably save that for later in the week. Tony, I'm just happy to be back and up all right. And thanks to Dr. Kevin Kaplan for doing my shoulder surgery. And he tells me it went well. So I'll let you know in about a month whether he's right about that. So I'm just happy to be back at the moment right there. So here we go.
At least you're living at a time where they treat it with a surgery to try to get you right as opposed to bleeding you.
You know what? Yeah, leeches probably is not the way to go. Somebody posted this on Twitter the other day, and it was a fascinating look at this.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
And everything you hear about Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani's doing it, twice as good and blah, 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 blah. And somebody said, Shohei Ohtani's career would have been over when he tore his ulnar collateral the very first season.
Yeah.
Would have been over.
Yeah.
Like, if he played in Babe Ruth's era, he would have been done.
Yeah.
They didn't have that.
How many Babe Ruths have we lost?
Yeah, well, who knows, right? Or how many careers were ended because they didn't have the technology to repair that? I was like, man, that's a really, really good point.
Like, I think about it all the time with stuff like the ACLs and Achilles has been the one that lately has been that kind of thing. I can remember growing up as a young NFL fan, if someone had an ACL injury was like, their career's done.
Oh, yeah. ACL, microfracture
like
was
that,
huge.
Like, it ended it. Achilles became kind of the next thing that it was like, oh, you're done. It's the way that it felt. And now we have guys that are like, with George Kittle, he's talking about playing in Australia.
Right.
Week 1. And he suffered an Achilles in January. It's crazy how medicine has allowed and extended guys' careers that they are now suffering what would have been career-ending injuries 15 years ago that are now, we'll get you back in 6 months.
Yeah.
It's crazy what's happened with all that stuff.
Across the board, but I never thought of something like that. It's so many guys nowadays here. Look, there was that phase, I don't even know how prominent it was, but there was certainly a storyline that you had young pitchers who were getting preemptive Tommy John surgery. It was what it is, right?
Right. You got to go through the first one so that you can get into your career.
Because once you come back, they say it's even better.
Yeah.
Like your elbow's even stronger than it was. So guys were having it before they even needed it just to progress further down the line and become more dominant at an earlier age. And to me, that's crazy to cut on a healthy part of your body, but whatever, but that's kind of the world we live in now where all these options present themselves out there. So
was it Reggie Hayward? What was the injury he suffered?
He had Achilles.
That it was done.
Never. I think he came back and played a little bit, but was never close to the same guy.
No.
Yeah, he blew out his Achilles in like week 1 or 2 of whatever season that was, and was never the same. Yeah, and look, still, if you tell me that a defensive end tears his Achilles, I'm going to assume he's never going to be quite the same.
Right.
But can he go on to have somewhat of a productive career from that
He's
point
not
forward?
done playing, essentially.
Probably not done, right? So, all right, let's look at a few of the responses to the question of the day, see how you feel about these, Tone. We asked about some of the minicamp storylines that you're going to be following. Gary said he wants to see how the secondary is going to look. We went through that with D-Rock. There are so many freaking options at safety right now. It's going to be fascinating. Can Caleb Ransall or any of these guys, Antonio Johnson, distinguish themselves so much? Like Antonio Johnson was the guy in the second half of the year last year. If everybody stays healthy, do they have a room that's kind of comparable to the wide receiver room potentially at safety?
I think when you look at Antonio Johnson, who I still feel in my head should be the guy that gets featured as much as anybody, right, in the safety room with what we saw from him last year, his first year in Coach Camp's defense. So I feel like he should be featured because he is kind of that tweener guy where they can kind of use him as a third linebacker if they need him in the box. He can play slot corner for you. He can play free or strong right at the safety spot, so you can move him around as much as you want to. Talking to D-Rock, and you asked the question about Eric Murray and what it's going to look like for him, I think the pressure that Ransall and Husky can put on a guy like Eric Murray at this point in his career for what exactly the snaps are going to look like. I still feel like Antonio should be the more featured of those four guys, but there is the possibility that Husky and Ransall, as young players in that room, just earn a role that's maybe even bigger than we thought it could be. Well, just a few weeks ago for both of those guys, specifically Ransall, because we just saw nothing from him.
Right, and specifically because they made that investment in him. Other than Travis Hunter, he was the highest pick that they had last year that they exercised was on Caleb Ransall. And I think that, maybe Antonio Johnson never has the breakout if Ransall is healthy last season.
And they're playing positions that we can actually see what they're doing. This time, the guys that play in space is what you can get any kind of a vow on, basically, this time of year.
I mean, you look at Ransall, it's like you just got another third-round pick in. That's a high-value selection, and it was made by this regime.
Yeah.
Whereas, I get it. They have proven that if a guy shows what he can do, they're going to reward that guy. Cole Van Lannon had been here, but he showed the value to them, and they rewarded him with the contract. So I'm not saying that they don't love everything they got out of Antonio Johnson, but they did. They're the ones who scouted Caleb Ransall. They're the ones who drafted him. They're the ones who had a vision for how to utilize him, and the buzz has been really positive. I mean, that's a benefit to the Jags to have these different options back there. But so I think that is a good one, obviously, to keep an eye on. Look, all these things are not going to be answered during minicamp, but they're going to be things that you can look at. By the way, open to the public, this Wednesday will be your one day prior to training camp. Speaking of training camp, all right, we are told between the dates of July 29th and August the 12th, not to expect to be in studio a whole lot, right? I mean, that's basically a 2-week period of training camp where every time they're on the practice field, who knows? Maybe there's going to be exceptions if they have like a special teams practice. I don't know all the details, but we were able to do 3 live shows from training camp last year at the Miller Electric Center, which was a ton of fun. And word is it's going to be significantly more than that this time around. Baselli kind of dropped that on us going back a couple of months now. He's like, hey, it's not going to be because of us if you're not out here. We're like, Tony, we've been knocking on the door. We're ready to go. So, by the end of July, fortunately, Tony, I'll be out of the sling.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be a 2-hander once again and not a 2-handicap, but man, it's going to be fun out there. We're coming off a 13-win season, all the pieces that they do have in place. And, do we have this great, we didn't get a first-round pick this year, didn't make a bunch of splash signings, made really one signing of note in free agency, but you do have guys like Ransall who are going to be coming back. You have a guy like Milam who barely scratched the surface of what he could be last year, and there's a chance for some significant positional battle competition for starting spots.
I wonder if the fan base feels this as much as I do, right, going through this offseason. I can remember chatting with Shipley before the show last week when he came in, and we were just, getting ready to come in studio and chatting about how quick this offseason feels like it has flown by for a team that didn't even have a first-round pick, right, for us to talk about a ton. It always feels like it's pretty fast in any year coming off a good season from the Jags. The offseason always feels really short to me when the Jags are any good, right, going from one year to the next. But this year, I think, is the classic experiment for that kind of feeling because they didn't even have the first-round pick for us to talk about once we got into the offseason at all. It was all, we're doing mock drafts every Monday. You can't even look at most of the mock drafts people are doing because the Jags aren't involved. But I don't feel like this offseason's been slow at all. I feel like it's absolutely flown by. They weren't busy in free agency, had no first-round draft pick, hasn't affected the speed of this offseason to me at all because the team's good.
Yeah, and look, they lost a couple of guys, but I think that was because of decisions that they made.
Absolutely.
Could they have found a way to keep, maybe not both, but one of Etienne or Lloyd, if they made it a priority? I think they could have.
Yeah.
And I think they feel like they've got guys coming up in the pipeline that are ready to go. Now, that's a tall task. One guy scored 13 touchdowns. The other guy was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
So still got to go out there and do it.
I would love to not be mad at them in November because of decisions that they've made. I don't anticipate necessarily that I will be, but believe me, we all know if they do something, some of these decisions don't work out the way that they wanted to, we'll react to them being bad decisions at the time that it's proper to react to them being bad decisions. It doesn't have to be in June that you get upset about some of this stuff that they're doing.
All right, minicamp starts tomorrow for the Jags. They'll be on the field for the next 3 days. One more segment to go. We'll wrap things up, hand it off to XL Primetime when we return in a moment on 1010 XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
When it comes to orthopedic care, experience matters, and teamwork matters even more. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, our fellowship-trained specialists work together to treat a full range of conditions, from knees and shoulders to spine, sports injuries, and joint replacement. You'll be guided by the right specialist for your needs, with coordinated care and personalized treatment plans designed for better outcomes. Smarter care, faster access, trusted expertise. Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville.
Jaguars Today.
It's a Dream Finders Homes Monday.
Homeowners, is your home storm ready? Now during the storm season sale at Renewal by Anderson, you buy one window or door and get one 40% off. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. There's never been a better time to protect your home before the next storm. But this offer ends June 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Prosser here. Get those boats ready. The Dailies Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin is almost here. Coming up Saturday, June 13th. Just go to oldschoolkingfish.com to find out more. The grand prize, a 21-foot Yellowfin hybrid boat worth $130,000. And with limited boundaries, no live bait buying, and no checkout, it's seriously old school fishing. That's why we call it the Old School Kingfish Tournament. Here's how you do it. Go online, sign up. You become part of what's always a terrific tournament. It's Old School Kingfish Shootout. oldschoolkingfish.com.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
Weight loss gets a lot easier when you stop guessing. Reclaim by Awaken 180. 10 weeks, a real target, finish line, and most importantly, results. Medication-free and free support for life at awaken180weightloss.com.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentist and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Soccer fans, Michelob Ultra is going to pay somebody $90,000 to go to the FIFA World Cup 2026 final and bring the Superior Player of the Match trophy. Yes, I'm being serious right now. It's got some weight to it. This is the real thing, people. Michelob Ultra, $90,000. FIFA World Cup 2026 final. You watch the match, you get the honor of carrying the Superior Player of the Match trophy. That's a soccer fan's dream come true.
Enjoy the beautiful game with a cold Michelob Ultra, the official beer of World Cup 2026.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, on the field tomorrow. I would expect Liam Cohen will speak tomorrow, I would think, or has the schedule come out on all that?
I think it has. Let me pull
I would
it
think
up
he's
here.
speaking on day one. And so we'll have plenty of Jaguar-related audio as the week plays out for you. Practice starting right around 9 o'clock. Of course, open to the public on Wednesday. I'd love to see you out there. I will not be seeing you out there, I don't believe.
Yeah, Tuesday they have scheduled in what the Jaguars sent out. Liam Cohen tomorrow, Grant Udensky, and Robert Hainsey.
Okay.
Available on the field on Wednesday. It's going to be Coach Cohen again. I think he's speaking every day this week after practice. Defensive coordinator Coach Camp and Josh Hines-Allen on the field after the game. And then Thursday, Coach Cohen, Heath Farwell, and Jacoby Myers available, along with whatever players everyone
Good for
gets.
Heath Farwell, man. I mean, honestly, is he the most... He's one of the most underrated coordinators. Now, there may be other great special teams coordinators, but we
talked about him a ton last year when Cohen got hired. It was like, this is one of the guys that they need to keep in the building.
And, you know, that was a nod to Liam Cohen, that you don't have to fix everything. There are some things. Obviously, there were how much impact coaching can make was evident last year. Yeah, they had an influx of some new talent on this team, but he took the same basic core. Right. I mean, you had Travis Hunter, but you had him for half a season. Right. And yeah, you made the move for Jacoby Myers, but those are moves that teams kind of make. Somebody left Surse without a seat over there, I think, is what happened. So anyway, plenty of storylines. Number one storyline, just keep them healthy, man. At this point, I don't care. I'd rather they look like trash than get anyone of any kind of significance hurt. You know, you can look like trash for minicamp and we'll have time to fix it. We don't need any kind of lingering anything coming out of the next few days.
We don't need any of the Giants players tearing Achilles in workouts and like
he said it, people, not me.
The pectoral muscles tearing. Like they've had a run of bad luck up there in New York last couple of weeks.
Most of them have not occurred. Most like 2 of the 3 Achilles came on grass field, so you can't even blame it on MetLife's surface. All right, our time is done. The greatest shower in the history of mankind.
It's on the way.
It's coming later this afternoon. I'll report back full details tomorrow. Maybe not. RJ, he questions whether I should do that. Tony will post the Tuesday top 5 at 1010XL Fat Tony later on this afternoon if you got an early start thinking about that. And right now, let's welcome in. Oh, did I forget something?
No, Leon entered the room and I'm like, do I smell Aqua Velva?
Is that Aqua Velva? I don't think. He's wearing a polo shirt. I don't think it's Aqua Velva. But he probably put it on to cover my particular stench right now. So let's say hello to Big Surse.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Surse, you smell fantastic.
Well, listen, first of all, this was my wife's doing. Nothing had nothing to do with me.
Well,
she sprayed some Jean Paul Gaultier on me.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not a cologne guy. But if
Okay.
ever there were a time to be a
Yeah.
cologne guy,
Yeah.
it's when you've had shoulder surgery and you've had one half of a shower in the last 5 days. Not even a full one. So full shower coming today for the first time. I'm very excited about that. I know. You know, you get laid up and you can't get the stitches wet. You can't all this
Take
stuff.
a bath and marinate in it.
Well, and I did like a half shower. But that only doesn't cover everything. You know what I'm saying? So today is going to be a big day in the cleanliness front.
Nice.
It's always a big day for XL Primetime. We got mini camp this week.
Excited.
We got NBA Finals going on. What are you guys getting into today?
Well, we're going to talk minicamp coming up this week. We're going to talk NBA Finals as well. And we're going to talk about this quarterback for Texas Tech called his name is Sorsby.
Sorsby.
Something happened.
How do you mean?
He's going to rehab.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Yeah, well, he did win an injunction, though,
He
right?
did win an injunction.
So the word is he's going to be able to play for Texas Tech this year.
He is.
So, good for him.
Yeah.
We're not in the quarterback market here,
Yeah, I
fortunately.
saw he's got to go to like Gamblers Anonymous. He's out for the first 2 games of the season, like as he's dealing with whatever all this stuff is, but he's back.
Do you, if he stays away from that stuff this year, does it impact his draft stock at all?
No, we're a forgiving country.
The NFL, man, it's like they're cutthroat mercenaries, man.
Listen, if he goes out there and throws for like what? He's going to miss 2 games.
Let's say 3,500 yards.
yards, 30 touchdowns, and like 5 picks.
Yeah.
He'll be a top 10.
They'll be like, don't forget, he's rehabbed. He's a good young man.
We'll put him in the program.
And maybe he is. I don't know a thing about him, personally. But good luck to him. Not our issue. Sirs, have a great show.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. All right. XL Primetime coming your way for the next few hours. By the way, big shout out to my wife who was taking care of me because I'm, like, you know how guys are sometimes when you've got an ailment of any kind, we go into practically fetal position mode. Honey. That's been me for the last 5 days. So thank you, Heather, for that. She's probably listening right now because she's picking me up to drive me home today. So,
Hi, Heather.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out, HD. All right, that'll do it for us today. Thanks to Mike DeRocco for stopping by. Got Tuesday Top 5 coming up tomorrow for Tony Smith and RJ Saunders. I'm Mike Dempsey. Stick around for XL Primetime coming up next on